They're 10-0 in our conference for a reason, and I think the last loss they had was on December the 15th, and there's a reason for that. They have an experienced group. They're an outstanding defensive team. In the game today, Matisse Thybulle had 5 steals and 5 shot blocks in one game. When you can have 5 steals and 5 shot blocks in one game, that's dominant. And he really does an amazing job of setting the tone for Washington's defense. And then on offense, they're patient. Big time shots are made because they got some older guys who can really play. Mike Hopkins is a terrific coach, and he's really implemented their culture the way that he wants to by being such a great defensive team and getting guys to buy in the way that they did. So all credit is to them. There are times in the game when we played well. I thought Justin Coleman played his heart out, but we didn't make enough perimeter shots, and we weren't efficient enough. We weren't able to get the good defensive rebound when we really needed it. If you guys would like to ask me questions about tonight's game, I'll be more than happy to answer, but I'm not going to comment on anything related to off the court.
Was that the case in the second half where you ran out of gas because of the depth you have or don't have?
We definitely ran out of gas. Part of it is, we need Chase Jeter to be able to play and not get in foul trouble. Maybe he had 1 or 2 tough calls, but, Washington, again, they do a good job of throwing the ball in the middle, and a couple of those tough calls or 50-50, maybe it's a foul, maybe it isn't. It really worked against our team because, his minutes were limited. At the beginning of the game, he was the one player on our team that could really score. So we're a better team when Chase is in there. He didn't have that opportunity tonight to maybe play the minutes that we would have liked to play him.
Last week you go 14 for 28 from beyond from distance. Tonight you can't hit a shot. What's the difference in games or teams or whatever?
We're not a great shooting team. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to support that. We've had our moments. Every once in a while it's just one player on our team that seems to carry us through. But that didn't happen tonight. And when you play Washington, Syracuse, I don't care how many times you like to throw the ball in the middle, to the post, drive it. There's just going to be those opportunities that you get from 3, and you have to be able to knock them in. And we really struggled.
So the way Thybulle impacts the game, do you think he should be in consideration for Pac-12 Player of the Year?
I do. I know he was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. But, a team that's 10-0 and assuming they'll go ahead and win this conference, you have to reward one of those guys. And, man, I tell you what, when you talk about forming an identity, it's really hard to not think of him because of, 10 steals, blocks together in one game. And I think he's averaging between 6 and 7 steals, blocks on the year. So he's a tremendous player. I know especially with Lorenzo being here last year, he's also just a great kid, and you can feel that when you watch him play. He's an outstanding player.
How do you see maybe his skill set translating to the next level?
Well, defensively, he's fine, and he's a streaky shooter, and a lot like the other guys that I think leave and are successful in the NBA, like those long wingspans, and it's really hard to measure him. 6'5", 6'6". I think his wingspan's close to 7 feet, and he can really defend. But there's always a place for a player like him because they can shoot, and he's not just a good defensive player. He's a game changer.
I'm curious, the second time you face off against Hopkins from Washington, how difficult is it to prepare for that matchup zone that he learned from Boeheim, and how unique of a challenge is that kind of defense and the guys they have over there?
Well, they're the best defensive team in our conference. You don't have to play zone. You can play man. Dana Altman presses and plays zone. There are times when Oregon's been the best defensive team in our conference. There are times when we've been the best defensive team. But whatever they do, whatever you do, you want to do it well. And they play their zone very well.
So where will this team miss Mark the most coaching-wise?
Pardon me?
Where will this team miss Mark the most coaching-wise? Mark Bell.
I'm not going to comment on that.
You certainly understand that you're not commenting on this, but when do you think you will be able to?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Right now, The statement said, it just had Dave Hickey speaking.
Any
Were you
basketball
saying you
related
supported
questions?
it? So you feel like they supported you, or are they working against you?
You know, I support the statements that went out.
Is there any coaching staff restructuring that you're going to have to do, like other people putting into other roles?
No, Austin Carroll has been promoted a lot like last year, and he did a great job for us last year, and he's in that same role this year.
Justin Coleman said that they had another reason to play today. Your thoughts on that? Just obviously given the developments today, he addressed that. Agree with that? Thoughts on that?
Well, I didn't understand.
Justin Coleman said they had another reason to play for today in light of the developments today. Your thoughts on that?
You know, our players are young people in college. You know, they're very emotional. You know, when you go through a long season, in some senses, several seasons, you grow attached to people. And, of course, you know, they're attached to each other. They're attached to people that work with them.
Coach, what level of concern do you have that you will likely be subpoenaed to testify in a federal trial?
I'm not going to comment on that. Thank you, guys.